Hey, we're live. Here we go. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to wherever you are in the world. Welcome. It's been kind of an interesting day, hasn't it? Yeah, we had the Apple not keynote this morning. Bear with me here. I'm trying to bring up the chat. Doesn't want to show up today. Come on. Show yourself. There we go. Here. All right. How's everyone doing? Yeah, we got a little bit of a different setup today because the last one, I think that part of the room may have worse reception than this part. So we're going to try again. We're going to hopefully not have any buffering issues this time. I've noticed specifically, it might be because of the window or I don't know where. It changes depending on where I am in the house. But when we live streamed on this side of the room, we had absolutely no problems with connections. And when we were streaming over there last week, we seemed to lag out all the time, and we had to restart it like 3 times. I don't think we remembered it, any of it. Like, we didn't save any of that live stream, unfortunately. So let's see if this one works a little bit better. I kind of like this setup too because I get to sit down, so it's a bit more relaxing for me. I don't have to lock my knees. Usually when I finish a live stream and I start walking away from it and start putting things away, it's like, oh man, like my knees are just locked the entire time while filming. So this is easier for me. Appreciate it. If you guys tolerate it, great. If you want to see it change, let me know. Hey everyone, John Christoph, Apple's My Defibrillator, Riley, Harriet, Robert, Chris, Abe, Kermit, Dan, Ryan, Dan. Oh, we already said Dan. Chris, Harriet, and Nakul is first. Congratulations, and thank you for not saying, will you mention my comment? Oh, what'd you say? Hi? It's not much worth mentioning. But yeah, the new iPad is thicker. I personally am... I like the new iPad. The regular iPad. What I don't like is the naming strategy because it gets confusing. Because now I have to say the regular iPad. But, it's better than 9.7-inch iPad Pro, to be honest. But people are obviously upset about the fact that it's thicker, that it doesn't have the better display. It's not laminated. So I believe that means it doesn't look as good with viewing angles as well as it's less durable. It's as thick as an iPad Air 1. But I feel like people are missing the point. This was not meant to be like an iPad that's the next step. This is the upgrade from the Air 2. No, this is cheaper. This is a price decrease for a spec increase. As in, we've got an A9 chip in there. We got an M9 motion co-processor in there. So things are going to be running great. And $330 for an open-the-gate iPad. And this isn't a mini. This is a 9.7-inch, that's the original size of that's a regular standard sized iPad with pretty decent specs in it. 8 megapixel rear facing, 1.2 front facing. That's about what we got on our flagship iPads. And very, very low starting price right out of the gate at with 32 gigs as well. So I'm more impressed that they were able to get the price this low. That doesn't mean I'm expecting it to be like the next generation of iPad, but also the fingerprint reader. So it's as thick as the iPad Air 1, but the iPad Air 1 didn't have a fingerprint reader. So it is kind of unique in its own design element, and it's also lacking the silent slash ringer switch. So you'll be able to see one and be like, yep, I know which one that is, because it won't be as thin as the Air 2, but it will be significantly cheaper and faster. So I'm impressed by that. I'm not upset that they took out certain things. A lot of people are. What a lot of people are upset about that I do have to agree with is this guy. This is the thumbnail for everyone right now. The red iPhone 7, which happens to be a white front. That I thought was an oversight, but I guess it goes along with all of the other Apple colors, as in they got rose gold, they got gold, the silver. All those have white fronts. But honestly, maybe I'm alone in this, but I really think all the iPhones we have available right now would look better with black bezels and glass on the front. Think about it. Rose gold with black on the front. Gold with black on the front. Even silver with the black on the front, I think would look way sexier and neater, just in my personal taste, than what we have right now. I can't find a good application for a white glass front because that makes where the display is and where the bezels are so much more noticeable. But when it's all black, it just blends right in. I love it. Anyway. You call it the ghetto iPad? I mean, it's cheap. I'll give you that, but like it's got you're running a full-fledged operating system. You've got the A9 chip, so it's not top of the line, but it's not 2-year-old tech either. It might be exactly 2-year-old tech, but it's pretty fast. It'll hold up. White looks better? I don't think so, but that's just me. Waterproof iPad, good idea or bad idea? Waterproof, it's kind of like adding flash on it. On the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, they put flash, and I was like, I don't think anyone was asking for that, but I guess you could put it on there. So, like, sure, why not? Yeah, no one's going to be angry if you put it on there. You might confuse some people. Is tailosivetech.com legit? So someone does own tailosivetech.com. It is not me. Someone saw that I was popular, and they saw that it didn't have a website, so they bought the domain in hopes that maybe when I get big one day, I'll have to buy it from them or something like that, but I don't think we need that many websites anymore. Like, I don't think you need to have a separate website for each of your following YouTubers. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, we've got YouTube. We've got all these sites that are built to help us, for free, support our business and produce our content. So what's the point in developing your own private site? Because it's not like I can buy server space and load all my videos on there. I would just be linking you from that site to my YouTube videos. So what's the point? Yeah, and the new watch straps. Though only watch strap, I was excited. All the rest of the colors, I was like, great, they found a different shade. It's pretty boring to me. But I really like that you can now buy the Nike watch bands on their own. You don't have to just get the Nike band. Because I thought those bands looked amazing. When I wanted my Series 2 watch, I wanted to get the white in gray one with 3 holes in it. I thought that looked cool, but at the time I couldn't get the Nike watch. But now I can, so I might do that. We'll see. I do like the new bands. Just primarily the Nike ones, though. I don't care for the slightly different shade of sport band. Whatever. And the classic buckles are too expensive anyway. What else were people saying? Is it worth the upgrade from the iPad mini first generation? Mine is getting old and slow. Today's tech, you can't even get iOS 10 on the first gen iPad mini. So I'd say you're definitely due for an upgrade, but I wouldn't buy it just yet because I still haven't given up on the idea that we're not done seeing the new iPads this year. A lot of people seem to think that they've abandoned the keynote until WWDC. I don't believe that yet. I think Apple's waiting for the public release of the Apple Campus, and when they do that full-on release, they're going to talk a lot about Apple and the Steve Jobs pitching the idea for this giant building that they finally finished, and then during that keynote, they may show the edge-to-edge iPad. So I still think we're going to get one before WWDC. I hope so. We could be wrong. Anyway, let's see what else we got. You will be posted later. Be posted offline. Oh, so here's the thing. What's your name? Kermira87. I try to post these on afterwards, but the problem with the last week's live stream was we were having internet connection problems, so we were live streaming perfectly fine for 40 minutes, and then Verizon decides to quit for some reason. I think it's something to do with that side of the room isn't as fast as this side, because we've streamed for a long time on this side of the room and had no problem, so that's why I'm here, by the way. And I think that when it dies and it cancels on you, the videos don't get saved. So I didn't have them when we were done. I would have published them, but I couldn't. So let's hope that this one doesn't drop out on us and that we can keep this so you guys can watch it after the fact. Should they drop the number on iPad Mini 4? New names would be iPad Mini, iPad, iPad Pro. Drop the number. That's an interesting idea. It gets a little confusing, especially when we've already had so many generations. Because the thing is, when you're differentiating between your minis, you're still going to have to say some form of number. So I'm really okay with them saying 5 because we have had 4 generations in the past. So why not just call it Mini 5? But if they decided to do what they did today and just call it the iPad Mini, just the new one, without a number, you're still going to have to say the 2017 version, or because saying I have the iPad Mini isn't descriptive enough. So you're going to have to say I have the Mini 2, the first gen, the 2017 version. One of those you're going to have to say. So dropping the numbers doesn't really help, honestly. I thought, today calling what they released the iPad Air 3 would have been easier to remember because we've had 2 Airs. But I guess they thought the Air title was inappropriate given the fact that it got thicker, which definitely means it's heavier than before. But whatever. iPhone 8 exploding? Well, it doesn't exist yet. It's exploding in the press, if that's what you mean. What's up with clips? Yeah, I did promise in the video today that I would talk about clips. Here's the weird thing about clips is we know so little about it. Apple didn't even like upload a video explaining it. There's just this little subsection of apple.com that says coming soon. Doesn't say if it's iOS and Android. All it says is it's like this little social network app where you'll be able to add captions and make short little videos that you can upload to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And I'm confused. I don't know how to feel. Is that its own social network, or is that just like a miniaturized iMovie to help you post things to other social networks? Either way, I don't know how to feel about it. Are they just ripping off Vine? They saw that Vine is gone, so they're trying to replace it? Is it because then that would be its own social network, I guess? If so, that'd be cool, but they really need to make it available for Android. Yeah, I don't know. It's so bizarre. That's so coming out of left field, like no one saw that coming. There's almost enough stuff today for it to be its own keynote, but I'm kind of glad they didn't have one. It would have been a very boring keynote if they just said, the iPhone 7 now comes in red, and the iPhone SE has new storage options, and this iPad is thicker, but it's cheaper. And then, here's some new watch bands, and a clip. It would be a very dull keynote, so I'm kind of glad they decided against it. They'll wait for more exciting stuff before they actually hold an event. What do you want from the next iMac? Vector, the same thing I want from every tech company, USB-C. That's all you need on the back. I get they'll have better specs. That's fine. It'd be cool to see a touch bar magic keyboard to go along with it. That'll be very expensive. But yeah, just like wipe out these legacy ports that you're abandoning on your MacBook Pros. My MacBook Pro's over there. That's what I'm pointing at. And keep that fluent with the rest of your tech. Anyway. Nicholas asks, do you think the MacBook Air should be discontinued like the iPad Air? I don't know how many times I have to say this, but the MacBook Air was upgraded in 2015 and 2016. It's just called the 12-inch MacBook. We should just accept, and the iPad is kind of a similar way. You know, we had the regular iPad come out today, just called the iPad, and it's replaced the iPad Air. What I want people to realize is the 12-inch MacBook, the regular, the tiniest, the thinnest, lightest one they have, that is replacing the MacBook Air. I don't think they're going to make a follow-up to the Airs on top of the 12-inch MacBook. That 12-inch MacBook, consider that the Air. And because that it's exactly what the Air stood for. It has less ports. It relies on futuristic ports that say this is going to get the job done. And it prioritizes design and portability before power and processing speeds, stuff like that. It's everything about the MacBook Air to begin with. And the colors and stuff. It's pretty. Cam One Tide says, do you think that Apple did this to take some light away from Samsung and the new S8? Well, maybe that's a good theory, but there's still a lot of theorists out there that are saying that the Galaxy S8 will not outsell the iPhone 8 because the hype is simply just too high. In fact, it might even affect S8 sales, even though a lot of people don't not trust Samsung anymore because of the Note 7 explosion. Like that's not influencing their buying decisions. They still think though that the S8 sales won't be that high because there's so many people out there waiting to get the iPhone 8 edition. And but yeah, it is an interesting theory that because at the end of the month the Galaxy S8 is being unveiled and there's so many leaks for it right now coming out. It's just like, and this and this and look how pretty it is. Maybe Apple was just like, product red. We know they want that. They've been asking for it forever. It's like, yeah, but shouldn't we put a black bezeled glass on the front? And they're like, oh no, that would be too good. So they'll save that for the 8 maybe. But that does really frustrate me. The other thing that really frustrates me, I said, let me see if I have a picture of it. I think I sent a picture to my friend, and people were pointing it out on Twitter. So you know who you are. Yeah, here it is. The home button for the product red iPhone is silver, not red, which really, really bothers me. Like, it's got to be the same. It's the same on everything else. You got a gold ring on the gold iPhone. You got a rose gold ring on the rose gold. Why didn't you do that here? I don't know. Maybe it's because they didn't put much effort into redesigning this thing. Like, providing more black glass for the front is a whole different thing than just, like, adding another paint mixer to what paints over the aluminum in the Foxconn factories or something. I don't know. I don't know, but it bothers me. It's why I'm like, I'm not mad that I didn't get to have that at launch. I would not have picked that if it came out in launch. If when the iPhone 7 came out, there was a product red, I still would have gotten matte black. Still. Apple should make black AirPods. You're absolutely right. What they should take opportunity of is they're realizing, is they don't seem to be acknowledging that online, like Colorware and Blackpods, there are whole dedicated companies and a whole lot of demand for people who just want to buy AirPods that are black or matte black, not glossy. There's like whole YouTube videos about people unboxing their Blackpods, and the demand is all back ordered for them. If Apple realizes that, you know, at the next iPhone release or something, if we just release like multicolored AirPods, we're going to sell a ton of them, and people are going to be way happier, and they won't have to buy from third parties. It's kind of like a missed opportunity for Apple. Maybe they could even charge more for the different colors, make them more exclusive. Colorware had the red iPhone 2 years already. Yeah, CQ upside down. I mean, and D-brand skins existed longer than that. You could like my iPhone 6 Plus is like 90% red on the back, so, and that had a black front. Great. Anyway. Wish they made more Apple Watch bands instead of changing colors. What bands do you want to see? Are we back? Please be back. Sorry about that. I don't know exactly what happened. Someone made a phone call, which freaked out my phone, and I'm curious if they... Did the phone drop? Did you guys see that? I don't know. Well, at least the video might have saved. Oh, what? Why does MKBHD get the iPhone product red before everyone else? This isn't even fair. It just makes all the big YouTubers grow faster than all the little YouTubers. We can't compete with that. Let me get the chat open here. See if we're working. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, we're back. I don't know what happened. I think, guys, what happened is someone called me, and I'm using a third-party live streaming service because the YouTube one is terrible, and I can't live stream from my computer because OBS sucks, and this is the one service provider that works most of the time. But yeah, someone called me on the phone, and it made the phone fall down, and in the app said it was still running, but everyone in the chat said it was broken. So, should be fixed now. Again, thank you for letting me know that it's broken. That helps. MKBHD is sponsored by Apple? I don't know why. He talks so much good things about the Google Pixel and says why that's his go-to phone. Doesn't wear an Apple Watch. Makes all these Dear Apple videos. I thought that was funny. He's like, I want them to update the Mac Pro because I'm a pro user. What's the first thing he asked for? Make more colors. Colors are important. I want different colors in my lineup. Anyway. Yeah, he kind of triggers me because he has so much money that it's like, is that really tech advice or is that just buying things and filming it? Like, there's obviously a bit more to your YouTubing if you can afford $60,000 cameras. Put shoe on head. Apple loves that. No, shoe goes on foot. I've decided. But yeah, if he was sponsored by Apple, I think he would say more good things about the iPhone. iPad Pros are a whole new lineup of iPads. Consider the new iPad as Generation 7 and the Air 2 being iPad Gen 6. They're a whole new lineup, but I mean, it gets messy because then it's like, which generation is the iPhone 5S and 5C? There's like a whole split up, right? There's like, they came out at the same time, but they're totally different. Anyway. Yeah, the white front does look dumb. What's new specs in the new iPad Pro? Well, first of all, it's not an iPad Pro, but it's an A9 chip, M9 coprocessor, which I think is what the iPhone 6s has. I could be wrong. I don't have this memorized. I can check real quick, but you guys will already have it figured out in the chat by the time I look it up. But the iPhone SE got a storage bump. No spec bumps, though. Yeah, iPhone 6s has a what chip? What is it? Yep, A9. Oh, did I say 6? I'm sorry. I may have misspoke. A9 and M9 chip. So it has the same speed as the 6S, which is still a very fast phone. It has a fingerprint reader, 32 and 128 gigabyte options, and a cellular option. But again, the main appeal to that iPad is the starting price. It's not supposed to be this revolutionary new thing. New iPad is pretty much iPad Pro 12.9-inch specs. No, that can't be right. The one I'm using right now has a higher processor. I'm looking at the list here. Yeah, 12.9 is A9X. It's a little different. But yeah, same camera. But yeah, no, I don't think there's any Apple Pencil support for the new iPad. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? But yeah, it is thicker than before. I do I do not see an A9X in the new iPad. Yeah, Alexander, I think you're wrong about that. I'm looking right at the spec sheets. But yeah, it's it's interesting how cheap they can get it. I'm impressed by that, and I think what they're trying to do is there's a lot of people with iPad 2s that are still running. They ran for a long time, and the reason a lot of people have been afraid of buying the new ones is because they're so expensive now. iPads generally were on average like $500, the full size ones, and then now with the Pros out, they start at 600, and maybe they're thinking that's why their sales are going down. They had like a big decline in iPad sales at the end of last year, in the year overall, and so what they're trying to do is just kind of broaden everything. So they're gonna make the next generation of iPad Pros very different with the thin bezels, built-in home button, hopefully, and that's gonna attract people who are looking to spend a lot of money on their new tablet, and then they're also making this thing, and they don't even need a keynote for it, where it's just like, hey, it's cheaper alternative. That's about it. That's what it's known for. Yeah, it's back. Name, camera, and screen. Yeah, we're back. If iOS 11 blows, I'm getting that Samsung Bendy phone. Taco Boy, the Bendy phone. Why? iOS 11 is going to be interesting because I don't have a whole lot of demands for it other than dark mode, but usually Apple in terms of software has a few tricks hidden up their sleeve that we'll be surprised by. So I'm eager to watch WWDC. I'd rather it be called the iPad Mini 5 if we do get that keynote updating the mini series. Because that's just easier to remember. Why can't we just number things anymore? That's what we did with the iPhones. It's so simple. What are you looking through most for iOS 11? Yeah, I want to see a couple things just perfected. I don't need to see a whole massive design change. I just want to see a couple things changed. Like in the camera app, can you please make it easier to change resolution and frame rate? It's way too complicated. Can we get, what do you call it? Dark mode, obviously. Everyone wants that. I'm ready for that. I don't even care if it hurts the battery life. I'll take dark mode. Just on the whole operating system in general. There's a couple things in there that are dumb, and I'm just like, why doesn't this work? I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I'm not going to buy the red iPhone, no, because of the white front. If it had a black front, probably still no. I like my matte black. It's so much more clean that way than this thing, which just kind of shines. It's like, and a lot of people are going to put a case on the red iPhone anyway. So it's just, what's the big deal? But you know, a lot of master collectors out there, especially the big YouTube tech YouTubers, that is, are going to buy this and unbox it anyway, because what the heck? Oh, that person who called me earlier, the person who ended the live stream, said there's a person who's into video production who's trying to get my trying to see if I'm interested in a job. It's like I have a job. I have you guys. Don't you see? I have more important work. I don't need a job. Are you going to buy the iPhone edition? Asks Rage Cage. I feel like I have to. Now, what I've talked about earlier is that I really like having the aluminum on the back of my iPhone. I'm not excited for a glass back. I feel like that looks cheaper, and I don't prefer it, honestly. But because of this channel and because everyone is hyping it up so much, and for the success of the channel, and for just informing you guys, I have a lot of you to inform now. I I feel like I have to. I feel like there's no choice. Like, as this channel keeps growing, and this year it is likely to become my full-time job, I think it's very likely that I'm going to have to just enlist in the iPhone upgrade program. I'm going to have to get the new one every year just to show you guys. Like, I'm already debating now, like, should I briefly, not like permanently, but briefly review the new iPad just to tell you, like, if it feels like a premium product? Probably won't, because we know everything about it. I'm not going to review it and you'll get much interesting out of it. But a lot of people, I think, would be curious in an unboxing, even though it's an iPad we've all seen before. Kinda. You know, it's the Air one with a fingerprint reader. Design without the switch on it. That's like the big design change. Portugal agrees. Nonsense in doing front and white. Red and black would be great. Anyways, for a good cause. That's true. Product red is for a good cause, and I do like that. It's limited edition. It's special edition. So it's 128 and 256 only. There's no 32 gig product red. So when you see someone with the product red iPhone, you're gonna be like, hey, they got some storage on there. You know, they didn't settle. But yeah, I'm sure they're gonna sell out very, very quickly, and it's not just because they're in high demand. It's probably because they don't have a lot of them. But no, I think it's personally a very, very smart way to get a big boost in sales for your iPhone lineup is when you just change one thing halfway through the year. Just a color, something as simple as that. A bunch of people who haven't upgraded yet are going to be like, oh, and then they get to market it all over again. They get to send out all these ads, and they get on Facebook trending again, and then everyone knows, hey guys, remember the iPhone 7? Remember how cool that is? Now, the headline isn't no headphone jack, the headline is now in red, and everyone goes, ooh. And then it says, and it's definitely not blue like the Google Pixel, and everyone's like, yeah. But, you know, this obviously, I mean, honestly, if, you know, you can obviously tell that they're ashamed of the white front. Like, they didn't want that to happen, but it was too expensive to start making more black glass panels. That's why in all these ads, they don't show the front. They're just showing the back, because they're like, it's red, and then you see the front, and you're like, oh. Okay. Why don't they put the A10 in the new iPad? Is the Air still in their lineup? Well, because, Alexander, as I've been saying, the goal with this new iPad was to be cheap. As cheap as possible. It was not to be the new flagship iPad. This iPad is going to be marketed towards people who are still using the iPad 2, people who are afraid to upgrade because of the price and the commitment with that payment. This is just to make sure people are like, oh, hey, I can get iOS 10 in the split view and picture-in-picture, $330. Not bad. That's about as far as it goes. For the people who want the Apple Pencil support, people who want rose gold, better cameras, smart keyboard, all that, they already know about the pros. They're going to get those, and they're waiting for the edge-to-edge version. Anyway. Apple Watch Series 3. Oh, One Awkward Gamer says you should make a Patreon. You're in luck, because I do. It's just Tailosive. Look up Tailosive on Patreon. You'll find me. Thank you. Yeah, you're pointing it out. I use AirDrop all the time, Shashan. In fact, that's one of the main reasons I could never switch to a ecosystem with Apple not in it, is when I love filming things on my phone and I want to edit them on with Final Cut on my MacBook, and I can just film all this stuff and then just wirelessly share it to it. It's so easy. I love it. And there's no parallel on the competition. They can't. Why is it thicker? Canadian Crafter is probably thicker just because it's cheaper to do that. You know, in that way that they don't have to try so hard to make everything as thin. They probably have older circuit boards and components that can fit together for a lot cheaper. So again, iPad isn't prioritizing lightness. It is just the main sell of this iPad is its price. iPad Pro 4 speakers are superb. Yes, they are. No, I have those on this one, and they fill any room. It's great. I love them. Yes, they are meant to be cheap. Probably to push the thinner pros. Yeah, it'll definitely give you incentive to want to buy the more expensive one. Like when people see a thick one and then they go to the pros, they're like, oh wow, these are light, but it's more money. But I really like the lightness. Maybe that's it. You may be onto something there. It should have came out today with an Apple TV 128 and 256 and an iPod Touch 7 with Touch ID and A10 Fusion chip. Wow, Leighton Games, that's a lot of specs you're cramming in that tiny device. We don't even have that on the iPhone SE. Don't wait for upgrades on the iPods. If iPods are being refreshed, it's going to be the Touch, not the Nano or the Shuffle. If anything, those are getting discontinued. And it won't be a keynote. It'll be a random website update like today. The event today was a letdown? Well, due to the lack of event, no, it wasn't really a letdown. And I don't think this was a replacement of a keynote. I still think there's a keynote coming in April that's going to focus more on the Apple Campus, the new one, as well as the edge-to-edge iPad. That's when I think we're going to hear about it. I don't think they're going to wait till WWDC because they do not reserve much hardware for WWDC. They have in the past, but it's primarily about software. And Apple's now having to upgrade 4 different operating systems every year. So there's very little time during WWDC to highlight new hardware. And I think that edge-to-edge iPad is going to take up some space. That's going to be the main attraction of whatever keynote they're holding. So I don't think they're going to push it off till then. I think we're going to get an actual keynote that they didn't want to talk about all this stuff in because they figured it was fluff. All this was fluff. The red iPhone, storage bump on the SE, iPad Mini 4 only in 128 gig. That's not enough to make it into the official keynote. The next one's going to be a big one. Yeah, there is no Series 3. Clips will probably replace Photo Booth. Yeah, I'm still so confused by Clips. What are they doing? They failed so many times at making a social network, and no tech company seems to acknowledge that you can't create a popular social network. All social networks get popular because people decided to flock to them pretty randomly. It is very rare that a big company can make something that everyone goes to. It's usually like an explosion from a little company. Snapchat, Facebook, I bet Twitter had some kind of story similar to that. It's confusing. I wonder if Apple just saw that Vine died and is trying to compete with them now. Maybe that's it. But I don't think Clips is its own private social network, is it? Isn't it just like the editing app that you can upload to any social media site, or is it its own dedicated network? I don't know. This is just weird to me. iPad Mini cost more because it has 128 gig. It does. It's the same price though. Wasn't it always 400? How much was the Mini 4 before? I'm confused. I don't remember. I just thought that the iPad Mini 4 was always $400, and now that the only option you can get is 128. That was just like a, please get the Mini 4 before we refresh it. That's what I really think all of today was about. Bringing down all the prices so that they can fill in with the new iPads. Because they discontinued the iPad Mini 2, thank God. They discontinued the Mini 3 a long time ago, but they kept around the Mini 2 for no reason. And then they've discontinued the iPad Air 2. So there's no more iPad Airs. But it's they only have 4 current iPads. The only iPads right now on the Apple Store, 12.9-inch iPad Pro and 9.7-inch. New iPad came out today, the iPad Mini 4. That's it. So I'm hoping they just cleared all that so that next month they can update with all the new edge-to-edge stuff, and there will be plenty more. Would you rather have a S7 running iOS 7 or an iPhone 7 Plus running Android? Oh, man, that's a tough one, Amsterdam. Luckily, I don't have to make that decision, but iOS, I really couldn't stand an iPhone running Android. So I'll take the S7 with iOS. Operating system is more important. Clips is just where you edit videos with filters and upload it to apps like Instagram. That's stupid. All these app companies should just have that built in anyway. Why does Apple need to make Clips? I don't know. Yeah, there's no more iPad Mini 2. The iPad Mini price dropped. It was $430 for 32 gig. Now it's $400 for 128. Yeah, I noticed that, but 128 is the only option. There's no 32 gig, which I thought was interesting. So the price did have a drop, but it also had a product drop too. which is it's funny to me that Apple was like, no, 128 gigs only. That's all you get on the Mini 4. It's like, oh, like what if I want a cheaper one that's 30? Nope, just that one. And to me, that makes it seem like they're trying to clear out inventory. Like they have plenty of 128 gigabyte iPad Mini 4s that they're trying to get rid of, and they're not making the 32s anymore. I bet it's something like that. Red MacBook on the keynote? Oh god, it's gonna look so bright if they do a red MacBook. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it'd be cool. Sure, why not? Yeah, a new iPad came out today. Oh, sorry, Antonio. I answered you before the live stream ended. New Apple Watch bands I'd like to see. I really don't have much of a demand for different kinds. They kind of cover it for me, all the bands I can think of. And I haven't bought a Apple Watch band since I got my new watch, just because I like nylon. I like the sport bands. They're pretty basic. They get the job done. And new ones are expensive, so I can't really go out and spend a lot. But I'm really glad that we can get the Nike ones um, for separately now. Like you don't have to buy the Nike watch to get the Nike band. That's cool. I appreciate that because that's the Nike band. That's the band I wanted actually. When I got the Series 2, I was hoping to get that white with holes in it band, but you couldn't at the time because the Nike watch didn't come out for a while. Product red iPad. Now that would be cool. I hope with the new iPad Pros we get like more color selections like we do on the iPhone. Everything the iPhone 7 has except jet black. I'm very much against a jet black iPad. In fact, I'm kind of against the jet black iPhone. It looks cool, but it scratches like crazy. And a friend of mine has one. When I hold it, I feel like I'm gonna shatter it at any moment. It's just so delicate. But a product red or a matte black iPad, as long as the front. Well, let's see, if the front of the iPad is white though, then it's not worth it. I would like to see a matte black edge to edge iPad. That would be beautiful. I don't like Hermes, and sorry for pronouncing it wrong in the video. It was early in the morning. I wasn't thinking, and I don't. That should show everyone how little I care about the Hermes watch bands. They're so they're not functional. I don't think they look good, and they're expensive. So I just get a sport band. It's so cheap. What's your favorite iPhone 8 feature? Well, that we've heard of. I think I'd honestly. Everyone likes to freak out about wireless charging or OLED or the glass back. Those don't mean much to me because I don't like a glass back. I think people are overhyping wireless charging because Galaxy users don't really use it that much, but people are excited when Apple does it. I think the biggest feature that will have a difference in my life is IP68 water resistance. I can take that thing and use it in the shower. Like in the morning, I don't have to leave the phone outside and then just do my stuff. I could just go in there, browse social media, watch videos in there, and not just worrying about it getting wet. Take video underwater, stuff like that. But yeah, that's probably the feature that's going to have the biggest impact on my life. I'm really excited for the new camera because the telephoto camera on the iPhone 7 is great, but it really needs to be upgraded so that the resolution and the aperture is better on that secondary camera. So I'm excited to see portrait mode get even better because it's already amazing. Well, what if matte black or jet black iPhones have the white front? Ugh, no. Okay, actually, no. Don't do that. No ideas. How long does it take you to film/edit a 5-minute video? Oh, okay. Today's Tech. Also, like your channel. Checked it out. Today is a good example of that because I was in a hurry. And today's video wasn't exactly 5 minutes, but I knew that at 5:30 in the morning, my time, Apple's site would be refreshing. So I set an alarm for 5:30. Woke up, refreshed Apple's site a couple times. It was a little late. And then when it did open up, I went through every tab I could in the Apple Store. I was like, okay, there's the new iPhone. Okay, there's the new iPad. There's the new watch bands. There's a new case. There's a new smart cover. And basically learned as much as I could, as fast as I could. Probably browsed through that app 10 minutes. Just reading as much as I could. Looking into the information about it. Looking at all the watch bands. Trying to figure out everything that's changed. And then as soon as I read everything I did, set up the camera, set up the lights, set up the microphone, and recorded. I think that video uncut was like 10 minutes. Said everything I could think of when I was looking at the phone, and the Apple Store app did not feature a little Apple Clips subsection. That's why I didn't include it in the video. I didn't know it happened. I wasn't looking on a desktop. So again, this is, in the tech YouTube world, everything is really about being as fast as you can to like get to the topic, get to what everyone's talking about. So this is definitely a race for me. So, and there were very little other tech channels that had like, this is what changed today before mine. Like, I was looking around on YouTube and I couldn't find any. But again, probably big tech YouTubers put more time into their videos too, because everything's got to be just right. And I'm just kind of like, nope, I'm talking action, something like that. But oh, thank you. I'm glad someone likes the haircut. But yeah, I filmed it in about 10 minutes and then edited as fast as I could, did all the screenshots, did all the animation, upload, and it uploaded a little bit after 7. So that should give you a little time frame. If I woke up at 5:30, did my research, filmed, edited, it was uploaded at 7. What's that, an hour and a half? So a good 90 minutes when I'm in a hurry. If I'm not in a hurry, it's probably closer to 2 hours, because I can have a podcast running. I could be doing other things while I'm editing. I could stop in the middle of it, and most of the time it's like that. When I'm not in a hurry, I just kind of like put things aside and stuff. How about a jet rose gold? Oh god, that'd be so pink. Okay, Apple iDesigner and a lot of other people keep designing these theoretical jet different colors, like not jet black, but jet white and jet blue and jet red. I don't like them. They look like candy, and I get a lot of other people do, but I'm really gonna miss aluminum on my iPhone. I'm just not excited for all glass back. I don't think that looks good, but again, it's all aesthetics. Who cares? Can you talk about the Galaxy S8 and shout out to me? Wick pick! There, I shout out. The Galaxy S8 is very exciting to me. After using the Google Pixel, I really seem to like Samsung now. I'm not against them. I just think that they're running software that is inferior to the iPhone. That doesn't mean it's terrible. I think Samsung's skin that they put on Android, personally, I find that better than what stock Android is. I don't care for that very much. Samsung tries to make it a little more functional and usable, and they create unique features with their phones, unlike Google, who just kind of like does stuff you've heard of before. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. I don't know if I'll buy and review it because I don't have a ton of money to spend on stuff like that. The Pixel, reviewing that just sent me back money, even though I sent it back. I'm out a couple $100 just reviewing it, and which I probably won't make back in the video. So consider it a favor. And I think it wouldn't be that interesting if I used it for a while, because I'd just be like, yeah, it's cool. And then send it back and be like, but it's not an iPhone. It wouldn't make me want to switch. I know it won't. I've tried enough Android phones at this point to know that you can't like put Android in the right hardware to make me like it. You can make me like hardware though. What do you think of Bixby? Yeah, I heard Bixby was released. I haven't seen much about it though. I didn't know if they updated it and put it on all their Samsung phones or if they just announced it or anything. I haven't done much research on it, but I'm sure it's very smart. I'd like to see it compared to the Google Assistant. I'm guaranteeing it's smarter than Siri, who's dumber than dirt right now. But yeah, I like that the S8 is all glass on both sides. Well, I don't like a glass back, but like I said, it's cool to see that a phone is like completely one glass on one side. But I'd prefer aluminum. Just saying. That's just me. Have you talked about the event yet? I am late. Yes. You can watch this live stream after the fact. And yes, I saw the Android case for iPhone. That's stupid. Anyway, do you think they'll bring something like portrait mode to video? I would like a shallow depth of field in my videos. Yeah, the problem with the Apple reviewer guy, the problem with bringing portrait mode to video is when you're taking a portrait mode shot, which looks amazing, you're taking it with the telephoto lens, and then the wide angle is being analyzed by a computer. So you're not seeing it when you take the picture, but it is making a 3D map because you have two perspectives on portrait mode. And it's looking at what is close and what is far away, and it knows what to blur. And even to this day, even though it's on public, so everyone has portrait mode, everyone can take those really good pictures, sometimes it doesn't get it quite right. As in it's not able to find exactly where depth is. So I don't think we'll get portrait for video anytime soon. But if they got the computers and they maybe put more infrared sensors or better 3D mapping technology on that dual camera, perhaps one day they would get to a point where knowing what to focus on up front uh, could be so seamless that you wouldn't be able to tell that it's not an actual lens that's doing that, and that a computer is automatically blurring the background, not burning it. It'd be interesting though. I'd really want to see that. Drew and I are wearing the same T-shirt. Hashtag shout out. Oh really? You checked them out? Oh, hey, okay. I gotta know now. People don't tell me the Spreadshirt website where you guys buy Tailosive merch. It doesn't tell me what you get. It just tells me when we make a sale, and I'm very very curious. So if those of you who have gone to Tailosive on Spreadshirt, to get there, go to like the video I posted this morning. Don't go to a live stream. Go to like a regular edited video, and in the description, the first link is buy Tailosive merch here. Go there, but when you get one, like tag me on Twitter or post it on Facebook or something, and be like, "Got my Tailosive shirt." It's like we're very curious to see what you got because it doesn't tell us what design you got, what color you got. I'm curious. I want to see. Do you think Apple will make an iMac Pro? No. Do you think Apple will make a drone? No. Not likely. That's not really in their field. And they kind of like shipping the DJIs in the Apple Store. So they partner with them, but no, I don't think they need to make their own. What the heck is dark mode, and will there still be more iPads later this year? Amsterdam, there definitely is going to be more iPads this year. At least 3 more. Two new iPad Pros and a new iPad Mini. The question is when, and it's most definitely going to be before the summer. At the very latest, WWDC. I'd be shocked if we didn't see new iPads before that. Are you sad there is no spec update for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro? Well, like I said, Robinson, they will come. They will come along, but it's just, it might be April. I think one of our Patreon donors mentioned to me that he thinks that the big iPad refresh will be coming next month when Apple's campus goes live. When they finally announce that, they'll have a keynote about it, and during that keynote, they'll announce the new stuff. Anyway. I got the merch to England, no problem. Oh, good. You got Tailosive merchandise all the way in the UK. Never even been there, but my logo's there, which is cool. Favorite Apple presenter? Great question, Dan. Oh, man. It's been so exciting watching all the different people exchange different roles in the Apple keynotes over the years. But I know a lot of people are like, Tim Cook is great at speaking. He's got that iconic voice. And Air Force One has a lot of character. He's very confident. He's usually pretty funny when he's on stage, so people like him. But personally, and me and my friends joke about this, but Phil, I think his name is Schiller, Phil Schilder or something like that. I just call him Phil. Has had such an interesting run over the last years because he was terrible. He was so nervous and he would get so anxious on stage and he would mess up a bunch, and you could just tell he had the biggest stage fright ever when he was on stage. But over the years, at every keynote, he would get a little braver and he would get a little more confident. So it's whenever he comes on stage, when I would watch Apple keynotes, I'd just be like, "Yeah, Phil, you got this!" And I'd get really pumped and it'd be like, "Yeah, he's got it!" And Phil had the hardest job at the iPhone keynote because he had to tell everyone, and he has the hardest job at a lot of keynotes because Phil usually has to tell everyone how much everything costs. That's the hardest thing because you have to look millions of people, not in the eye, but like thousands of people in the eye and tell them, yes, the Apple Pencil is $100. He had to do that. He had to represent Apple in that moment. He had to take everything in. Well, Steve Jobs, of course, was great, but I'm just saying right now. He hasn't done a keynote in a while, but yeah, obviously. Oh, good. Argo likes Phil. Everyone else likes Craig. Yeah, Craig's the obvious choice. He's likable. I lost my AirPods. Do you know any way to find them? Pretty neat gaming. Look where you last left them. Ooh, Drew's a mom. But I actually have a video coming up about my AirPods. I didn't make a video about this yet, but just yesterday, just on Monday, My right AirPod was quieter than my left one. It happened. It's like, okay, AirPods are not perfect. Great. They finally have a flaw. They didn't last. This was their third month, and most of my wireless headphones last about 3 months, and then something goes wrong. And here we are. AirPods lasted 3 months. Something goes wrong. But I didn't give up because AirPods have been my favorite pair of headphones ever. I love the sound quality. I love how easy they are to use. And so what I did was contacted Apple customer support, obviously, and later in the day you'll receive a video explaining all this. But so this might be repetitive for you, for those watching the live stream. How many are you? 87 of you. Sorry, but I contacted Apple customer support. I said one is quieter, and they're like, "Did you drop it? Did you get water damage?" I was like, "Nope, it was working fine for 3 months." And I figured I should let you guys know because I got them very early. I was one of the first batch of people to get them just because I ordered them really quick. So a lot of people out there who are just now getting them might not experience this problem until 3 months in. So it's important for you guys to know what to do. But if you contact customer support and tell them, hey, one of them is not working properly, whether it's out of sync or it's off or it's not working, and they're just like, okay, well, when you buy a pair of AirPods, you get a 1-year warranty on them if they're defective. It doesn't count if you break it or anything, like if you throw it in water and it stops working, or if you like step on it. Obviously that doesn't count, but you can still buy, if you voided the warranty, a single replacement AirPod. And with the fact that mine, I didn't do anything to them, they just stopped. One of them stopped being as loud as the other, which like one is blaringly loud. They said, okay, then that counts in their warranty. So we're going to send you a replacement one. We're going to put a hold on your credit card if you don't return the old one. But once we receive your old defective one, it's no charge, which I'm going to do. I just recorded the unboxing of that single right AirPod, and I was just charging them down here. Just synced them together. Yeah, they're still charging. But it was a great little fix. It shipped in 27 hours. Insane. Like, it takes AirPods, if you want to buy a new pair, 6 weeks to get to you. That's how back-ordered they are. And yet, to get like one of them, just to get a right AirPod, 27 hours. The guy ordered it at noon yesterday. It was here at 3. How does that work? And can you like contact Apple customer support enough times to have them send you a charging case, left AirPod and right AirPod? Then you got a whole new set. And you got it in 27 hours. Just get 3 of your friends to each grab one piece of it, and then bam, you got AirPods in 2 days. Bypass the system. Dark mode is when all the white on the screen will be replaced with black and all the text becomes white, just so it's easier on your eyes at night. Anyway. What do you think of the drop of the iPad Air means for the future of the MacBooks? Well, Giacomo, I think it means they're going to drop the MacBook Airs pretty soon. I know everyone loves them because they're cheap, but the 12-inch MacBook is really meant to replace the Airs. If Steve Jobs was alive, how would it affect Apple? People definitely wouldn't treat Steve Jobs like a god like they do now. They keep talking about how, oh, Steve would have hated this. Oh, this isn't the company he run. But when he was alive, because I remember when he wasn't treated like this god figure. It was more just like a very interesting story. But he was very hated. He made a lot of decisions that people didn't like. And I think personally, if he was around, which we'll never really know what would have happened, but if he was around today, he would have probably made a lot of similar decisions Apple made already. Removing the headphone jack. I feel like that's definitely something Steve would have been for. I think he really would have liked the Apple Watch. I think he stood for everything about that. It's simple. Things are at a glance. It's expensive. But and it sold really well, and it connected with people. And he would have been removing all the ports on the new MacBooks. He would have done stuff like that. His history has shown that he does things like that. So all those things I would have expected. There's not very many different things Apple's doing right now that I think Steve would have been against. I don't know. It's impossible to know. But I just get mad when people say Steve wouldn't have wanted this. It's like, none of us know. No one can really know. Do I want to work at Apple? I don't know what I would do. I kind of already do, don't I? Like, I'm kind of marketing. Like, Apple unveils stuff and I have to say why it's good. But if I was, like, sponsored by Apple, I couldn't really say bad things about it. Right? Like, if Apple paid me to talk all these great things, I wouldn't be able to say, you know, it's really stupid that they don't have that they have white glass bezels on the front of that red iPhone. That sucks, so I'm not buying it. Like, they wouldn't make me say that. They would just make me say, check it out, pre-orders are on Friday, product red, whoa! Steve was still alive when Apple started working on the watch. Yeah, but that doesn't mean he, like, gave the green light on it when WatchOS was done and the final design was done. We don't know. Who knows? Hated the stylus. Steve would also not like the Apple Pencil because... Okay, well, Robinson, lots of people have also mentioned that he was against a stylus on an iPhone. You know, and when you're using a stylus on a bigger display, you know, when you're drawing, it makes a tad more sense. So that's why Apple was in favor of a stylus on an iPad, because artists use that. Whereas artists don't use their iPhones to draw on. And that's probably why Apple Pencil still does not support the iPhone. And I hope it never does. A lot of people want it to. I don't. I think that would actually be stepping on Steve Jobs' wishes. Steve wasn't anti-stylus. He was anti-pocket stylus. He didn't want the tiny one on the little device. How he thought about a stylus on an iPad, I don't know. Maybe he made statements about that, but I haven't heard them. Shout me out. TJ 100 80515. There you go. Steve told Tim not to question what he have done. Just do what is right. Yeah, there you go. Do what is right. What happened to iPhone SE and iPod Touch? Well, I don't know what happened to iPod Touch, but I feel like Apple's phasing that out more and more. They're just like, yeah, forget about it. But the iPhone SE got a storage bump today. 32 gig and 128 now. Just like we thought. We predicted it, and it happened. You have an iPhone SE? Just a lot of people have it. They like it. I'm very excited for a bigger display on an iPhone. I'm always in favor of a bigger screen. If you can fit a 6-inch screen in my pocket, I will take it. Please. Please. How many gigs of data have I used, Casper? I think I checked it before the stream. I was at 70, and I refresh. My data refreshed on the 9th. So, I might not be using as much as last month, but 70 gigs in, how many days is that? I don't know. Can't think how many days it was. Anyway. Xander has one, right? No, Xander does not have an SE. He had a iPhone 5S, a broken one. And I have an old iPhone 5. I have two old iPhone 5s, but I don't use them for much. There was not a keynote today. What iPhone do you think Steve is rocking up in heaven? No, in heaven. He finally switched to Android. Steve's using a Google Pixel up there. What are your thoughts on the Apple Snapchat clone? Oh God, it's not Snapchat. I don't know what it is. It's stupid. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't know why that exists. It's so confusing. Anyway, how long have we been streaming? What time is it? I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. Well, let's say the stream ends in like 10 minutes. I've got other stuff to work on. What part of the states you from? I'm in Oroville, California, northern. Will you ever move to Florida? Asks Video Awesome. Never say never, but my girlfriend's father owns a house there, and I visited her there for a week. Great place to live in Melbourne, and we had a great time there. And I think me and Louise, my girlfriend, had talks about, like, you know, this is a nice place. What if we wanted to live here? But, you know, our families are very far away from that place. There's obviously a lot of other places to have people that are nearby, and we could be closer to different things we know. Moving states is complicated, but yeah, I'll never say never. Might happen. Do you like everything Apple Pro? You know, I used to not, but I've recently grown on him. You know, he uploads pretty regularly, so I started to watch some of his videos, and they got a little interesting to me. Still not very, like, no one's really like my tech channel. What I wanted to do with Tailosive Tech is kind of be very articulate and descriptive and logical about the stuff I talk about in review, whereas everything Apple Pro, to me, doesn't really come close to commentary. What it is like, I bought this, I'm showing you this, which is impossible for me to do because I don't have that kind of money. But he can, you know, make a video about the most expensive iPhone case. Like, I can't do that, but he can. A lot of his content is more about, I bought this, here's what it does. Not so much about, This is why this is better than this. It's more just reporting. In me, it's more like openly biased reviews, which 13,000 people at least seem to enjoy. What did you have before Verizon? Well, before I had Wi-Fi in my house. I'm not using Wi-Fi now. I just had Wi-Fi from AT&T, which sucked. 1 megabit down, 0.1 megabit up. Uploading was impossible. I basically just didn't do much. We can only have one person watching Netflix here at a time. Because we're way out in the foothills. We're way out in the boonies. We're not in town or anything. And that's the best we can get. There's no like better landline. I've tried Digital Path. I tried Comcast. Doesn't count out here. It's just that was the best we could do. But then Verizon Unlimited came out, and I was like, please. You're a fan from Greece. That's funny. My girlfriend's in Italy right now. She's on a tour with her dad. Yeah, my girlfriend's name is Louise. Yes, geez, Louise. That's how you know her. Was there a keynote about the red iPhone, the new iPad, and the new iPhone SE refresh? No, there wasn't. It just happened. Oh, what's cellular before that? Oh, I had a low limit. It was like 2 gigs I could have a month. I couldn't use more than 2 gigs, but we usually did. We usually had to pay overage data. With T-Mobile, I get 70 to 100 down in 40 up. That's great, Casper. I understand that there are much faster places in the world. There are certain friends of mine are on military bases with gigabit. So it's like, yeah, I understand. Someone's always faster than you. I get it. But then at that point, when you're using, yes, I would love Google Fiber. But at a certain point, like, you're not limited by your download speed when you have gigabit. You're limited by how fast your computer can open a web page. At a certain point, that starts to bottleneck you. Germany, woo, yeah, my girlfriend was in Germany last week. She's going all through Europe. What about AT&T cellular network? We used to have them. They don't work well out here. See, out here, like, you have to basically buy the carrier service that fits your area. Because right here, Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, not very good. But Verizon's perfect for us right here. I have an iPhone SE. Should I upgrade when the 8 comes out or hold out to the year after that? At this point, I'd say hold on to your SE for a while, just because we're coming up on the half-year mark between the iPhone 8, which is supposed to be a pretty major upgrade, so I don't think anyone should be buying iPhones right now, even the red one. Yeah, it's going to be outdated pretty quick. Tech Racks is pretty stupid, but, you know, the problem is people keep watching it. You know, the fact that you know what it is means you've contributed to the destruction. Every time you watch a Tech Racks video, you're helping him destroy another piece of tech. So, I just don't watch his videos because I don't want him to keep doing that. Do you like Unbox Therapy? Not really. That's kind of the same thing I was talking about earlier. Those tech channels are, again, all about just buying something and opening it up. It's not really an interesting review. It's like, no, let's actually have a talk about why iOS is better than Android. That's an opinion. I get it. And there's a lot of people who disagree. But what I'm going to do is articulate very detailed why I think iOS does a better job. I'm going to go and elaborate on this, and Android does not. Whereas that, it's more about comparing tech specs. So opening this has this, and this has this. Which is better? Well, let's put them in the spec recorder, and then, oh, this one got a higher score. Like, it's all brought down to a math, and there's, to me, not that much research done. Please wear the fedora behind you. Oh. What a... My lady. That's what kind of hat this is. Can you try the S8? I would like to. So share my videos to more people and I'll have more money and then I can buy the S8. You are the best Apple Tech channel. Aw, thank you. I don't think so, but thank you. Took a couple of comments up. Interesting subject. Will the 13-inch MacBook Pros be getting dedicated graphics next generation? Don't know. It'd be nice. I haven't seen any reports of that. What do you think the pricing of the iPhone 8 is going to be? Do you think it will be $1,000? I think so. It sounds like the price of everything they want to put into it is going to cost more. So I do expect the edition /8 to be a price jump as well. Maybe even more than 1,000. That wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of stuff going. I haven't watched Jack films in a long, long time. Star Wars or Star Trek? I'm more of a Star Wars guy. Trekkie's not as interesting to me. I get why you like it. Trekkies get real defensive. I'm not a fan of Star Trek, but I love Star Wars. Can you finish as a true Apple sheep and talk about ubiquity, iOS, OS, watchOS, tvOS, and so forth, continuity as you stated in Google Docs features? What's the future for Apple in that? I guess, Nuno, my point is, I think all of your technology should work together in some way, shape, or form. And that doesn't mean they have to have the same operating system. That doesn't mean putting Apple OS on everything. That means we can have separate operating systems. We can have Mac OS, iOS, tvOS. They can all stay in their own departments as long as they can communicate very, very fluently so that we can be prepared for a wireless future that's efficient. It's not just wireless because, wires are annoying, but more importantly, this is faster. This is the better way to do something. We can airdrop between our files quicker, and we don't have to get up. We don't have to plug things in. We don't damage ports and cables over time. Everything just works. That's the key thing about Apple. All right. We're out of time, and we're ending at an all-time, well, not an all-time high, but a pretty high. We got over 100 people watching. That's quite a bit. And hey, the live stream didn't quit. Thank God. Anyway, so hopefully this live stream will be available after it's live, so people who want to watch it will be able to. What are you guys asking? If you liked everything Apple Pro? Yeah, he's okay. I'm liking him a little more now. Anyway, this is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one. And now I turn this off.